Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is the Global Reality Radio Network.
Another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network with me, your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight and staying up late with us again and getting all Moonbatty with us. We always appreciate that. And glad that you're here with us. It's Monday, now into Tuesday, 26th into the 27th of March, 2012, when we're kicking off our week here with a big stack of news and information tonight as well. I think a few emails, not a whole bunch. A few of those as well. We finished last week with our reading of Zachariah Sitchin's The End of Days. Thanks to everybody who tuned in for that read. It was an interesting read. A lot of it is, I think, can further some of the research in particular ways. A bit when you have a lot of context for some of the other things, and also thinking a lot of it was, not really, maybe not really based in reality. I don't know, but there was definitely a lot of it in there that made sense of a lot of other things that I've researched and that. So it was definitely worth reading it for that. But again, I'm always going to read stuff that I even agree with or things that I'm really think are 100%. Right, but also I'm also not going to read things that are written by people who I already have exposed or already know they're legit. I'm not going to read, somebody requested I read a fucking what is that cocksucker's name? G. Edward Griffin book. Really? I mean, how long have you been listening to my show? You request me to read a fucking John Birch Society shill like G. Edward Griffin's book on my radio show. Does that really sound like something Josh Reeves does? I mean, honestly. Somebody recently requested that I read Eustace Mullins, Secrets of the Federal Reserve and Curse of Canaan and some of those things, which I've read those books on my own in the past. And they served me well at the time, but of course, now, with this stuff we know about Eustace Mullins, and, I interviewed Eustace Mullins. I interviewed him back in 2008. I wish there was a recording of that, but there's not. But I subsequently found out later on that I didn't get a chance to put it in Secret Right 2, but it'll be in something eventually. But there's a video clip out there you can find. It's on YouTube. And Eustace Mullins in this interview talks about how he... was friends with the Hunt family and stayed at the Hunt's house. That's a big time red flag. He also worked for, of course, what's his name's outfit that Tucker writes for it's changed names. It's been several things. Willis Carto. So he was also, Eustace Mullins also was involved with. And look, this is not a Patriot radio show, a truth radio show. I don't really consider myself to exist in that genre anymore. I left that whole thing behind several years ago. But it's kind of like the old thing of, I keep trying to quit. You keep dragging me back in. People are dragging me back in, trying to drag me back into that realm against my will. And I don't consider myself to be a part of that. I mean, yes, on occasion I do find myself as a guest on shows that are in that genre, which I'm perfectly okay with if it's the right show. There was a show I was going to go on a couple of weeks ago, and somebody gave me the heads up that it was going to be an ambush because there was a particular radio host that I've exposed who was now doing a radio show on this network I was going to be doing a show on, and I did not know that. And somebody in my chat room, whoever that was, made me aware of that, and I agreed with him that it did feel like an ambush. So I didn't do that radio show. So whoever that was that pointed that out, thank you, because whoever it was that told me I should go on that show obviously didn't feel like giving me that information and filling me in on that. Would have been nice to know that before I say, okay, yeah, I'll go on this guy's show, not knowing that it was, in all likelihood, an ambush. And I think that's what it probably was. So, so I'm not going to be reading any of Eustace Mullins' books. I'm not going to be reading any of the guy who ripped off all of Eustace Mullins' books. By the way, I guess they thought we wouldn't notice that or even think anything of it. That's the kind of shady shit these CMP fuckers do. Because G.R. Griffin's stuff is a complete rehash, I mean, verbatim in some places, if you've read both, of Eustace Mullins' work, particularly The Secrets of the Federal Reserve by Eustace Mullins. And, when you look at the connections of both of those guys to these secret right people, you start to see this interesting thing where, yeah, they really kind of did just rehash this same information that they had put out under the banner of Eustace Mullins and then put it out under somebody else's name. Another case, we see that with these people. And again, I think that multiple cases of this definitely smells like a rat. But we also see the same thing with Charlotte Iserby and Phyllis Schlafly, because Phyllis Schlafly has had many, 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 many books. You can go search online and see how many books she has, allegedly penned and written and released under her name, Phyllis Schlafly. But we found out over the past several years that many of Phyllis Schlafly's books were, in fact, ghostwritten by none other than Charlotte Iserby. And she eventually had to concede that indeed was the truth, and had to actually concede that she didn't write some of those books and give credit to Charlotte Iserby for that. But, that shows you the deception. That for, a period of time, years and years and years, these books were released. People were buying them thinking they were Phyllis Schlafly books, and they're written under somebody else's name. Now, I understand that happens a lot within the publishing industry and whatnot, but to see two cases of that happen, just the likelihood of that just seems small. So to see it again happen with Eustace Mullins and G.R. Griffin, and the way that the information was reheated and rehashed and repackaged. And because, Mullins was in the John Birch Society for a small amount of time till he found out, essentially that the Rockefellers funded it and stuff, and he quit. That's what he said on my show. I don't know. But American Free Press, that was one of them, absolutely. But anyway, I do have some selections that I'm going through for what our next reading is going to be. I don't know whether I'll start that tonight. I do have one in particular that I have picked out. I'm looking at some other things, going through some different suggestions by different listeners out there. Somebody wanted me to read, they really were really adamant about it. They were like, please read this. What was it? It was, I think it was The Stairway to Heaven by Zachariah Sitchin, I think is what it was. Yeah. And I think there's two of them. I don't know. If there's two of them, somebody needs to let me know, because I need to know ahead of time if I want to make that decision to read one of them. Because if I read one of them, I have to end up reading both of them, and I may not want to read two of these books. So there is indeed two of them. I think I was looking at that on Amazon or something. It said there were two volumes, volume 1, volume 2. I'm not for sure. But I may read that one eventually, but I'm not going to go directly to that one. I'm going to read something else. I'm looking at several Theosophical Society books. One that has to do with like the what you experience in the astral plane and all this stuff. Yeah, I'm looking at reading one of those, but we'll see. And I'll make a decision on that in the next 24 hours. But tonight, news, a few emails. If you want to send in an email tonight for consideration or possibility of me answering a question or reading it on air tonight, please do so. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. And you can send those in live. You can send those in if you're listening to this on an archive, and I'll read it on the next show. However you want to do it, that's where you send it at, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. There's also a contact link up at my website where this radio broadcast is originating from. And that, of course, is theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. And that's where you find everything pertaining to my work. You also find the crazy motherfuckers in the chat room. Oh, yeah. Big shout out to everybody. There's been some trollertons in that chat room tonight. Oh, by the way, according to one of our trolls, I'm a liar, my show sucks, and it's a fraud because black people really are running the whole conspiracy, and I'm hiding that fact. I'm covering up for the fact that the N-word over and over and over again 100 times. Literally, yeah, the N-words really run the planet, and they're making everybody believe that Whitey McCracker really runs the world when it's really the N-word over and over and over again. Yeah. So yes, I had to admit, I've been covering up the truth all this time. It is indeed. I mean, that's all these guys have, isn't it? I mean, they know I've exposed I've exposed how, look, it's a fact. And they hate that I expose this, and they get fucking mad and troll every time I say it. And I made a movie about it recently, The Secret Right 2, and I'm going to say it again. The 9/11 truth movement and the whole Patriot movement, truth movement, the people who have taken it over as a front for white supremacy and to bring in the white supremacist beliefs. Do you think it's a coincidence that there's all these, white supremacist stuff thrown at Ron Paul? You think that's a coincidence that they throw that specific thing at him? No, it's not a coincidence. Look at the people that he runs with in these circles. I mean, there is white nationalism is steeped deep in the whole patriot militia thing, and they've roped people into it through conspiracies and through Ron Paul and all the rest of this stuff, and the fear-mongering and the scaremongering. And little do they know, they are secretly and quietly building an army. That's why they're reinforcing this thing of armed conflict and let's get some weapons and lock and load. They're reinforcing that because they are quietly building an army of people, and many people who don't even know and won't even know that they are in fact acting as the army for this white supremacist, white nationalist worldwide movement that wants to bring about what their mentor and their master wrote about in the Turner Diaries. This is facts, folks. William Luther Pierce, the whole thing. These guys, I mean, my God, the guy that helped start William Luther Pierce's group was the guy who was the guy who fired the first shot of the conspiracy movement. Revelo P. Oliver. I mean, God knows we'll ever know what the fuck his real name was. Oliver, his fucking palindrome. Obviously, that wasn't his name. He was an operative. He was working for some intelligence organization. That's why he had a silly name like that. 2 weeks after John Kennedy is assassinated, in John Birch Society publications, he publishes this underground conspiracy theory that Oswald was a communist and he was killed Kennedy because he was a communist and blah, 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 and that's it. And that's the alternative narrative. Then he goes on to form the National Alliance with William Luther Pierce. And from then on out, you see the interwoven nature of white nationalist movements in with the conspiracy genre, the John Birch Society, right-wing extremism, the whole thing. I mean, you guys remember Ruby Ridge, right? You guys remember how the whole Ruby Ridge thing popped off? Because Homeboy was down at a Nazi white supremacist group that was infiltrated and had infiltrators in it. They provocateured him into some shit, and they got him cornered, and they killed some of his family. And guess who was on the scene immediately when it happened? Yep, here we go. Here comes some CMP cocksuckers right here. Here comes Jack McLam and fucking, what's his name? The 33rd degree Mason. I can't even remember his name. But this stuff has been interwoven, and I just love it how because I've exposed this and showed the roots and the history of how the conspiracy culture and the white supremacists and white nationalists, Bobo Greitz, yeah, thank you, John. Bobo Greitz. Yeah, they were the first on the scene there at the Ruby Ridge thing. But see, now that I've fully exposed Greitz, not Griggs, but yeah, Greitz. But anyway, it's Gritzs. Bo Greitz, how you actually spell that name. But now I've shown how this whole conspiracy genre thing has been interwoven. Now they send these, and I've seen two from two different IPs over the past couple weeks. And by the way, if you ask clowns and feds and infiltrators and whoever you are that come in my chat room starting shit and just making claims that aren't based in any facts because you can't contend my information with counter information. By the way, I take your IP because I have access to that, and I post that in the chat room for the public for everybody to fuck with. So those of you who've been fucking around, just know, you will get raped. I don't mean literally rape, but, somebody will rape your IP and probably mess with you. Just letting you know. So in my chat room starting shit, you jump in the IP, man, that's the kind of shit you're going to get. So suck it. Anyway, but they've just been coming around with this stuff in my chat room saying that I'm covering up the conspiracy of the blacks. The blacks are really behind the New World Order. If they're really behind it, then how come they have their own little separate club and little separate group? I've talked about the Boule Society and all that stuff before. The Black Illuminati and all that stuff, it's very real. It's there. But they're still a part of the same power structure that's running the entire planet. They're just another faction of it. But to say that, black people, black people made up all the Sumerian tech stuff and wrote all that so they could fool Whitey McCracker thousands of years into the future and set up the New World Order. I love it, man. These guys, yeah, exactly. Fucking Oprah's running the whole goddamn thing. Her and Cosby, they're sitting on a fucking mountain of pudding just giving fucking marching orders, dude. They were sitting in front of a goddamn big screen right before 9/11, envisioning planes flying into buildings, just eating fucking Jello pudding by the goddamn gravy ton, buildings into planes. Yeah, that's who's really running the show right there. I mean, my God. Come on, dude. And to think that, what's funny is that those trolls and those guys, they actually think that stuff is going to work on something. They think that, because, I mean, seriously, I really got to give you guys credit. That's why I love my audience. You guys really are the shit, because you guys are really, for the most part, we have a couple, we have some that are, they're special, but for the majority of my listeners, everybody is a cut above all the other audiences that I see on other shows. And so, I understand that those tactics may work on, on the intelligence level that tunes into, say, I don't know, any show on RBN. Most of the shows on GCN, all the shows on GCN. I don't know. But I think that's what it boils down to, is they come in trying that made up shit. And I think it does work on, anything will work on some people. The people like the guy who's going around saying Alex Jones and Bill Hicks are the same person, which is absolutely impossible if you actually look into it. Absolutely impossible. What was the other one I heard? There's just so many of these things, and they come in trying that in my chat room, thinking that people are gonna somehow in my chat room people are gonna see that and go, "Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, look at this, guys. Bill Hicks is actually Alex Jones. My goodness, I'm glad that person just anonymously dropped that in the chat room over there. You know, they're thinking that our people who hang out here are going to buy into that shit. You can just save your time. Because the people in my chat room see that shit as quick as I do. But you know what? I appreciate your efforts. I'll give you that. I appreciate your efforts. It's a nice try, but again, failed. Hey, this week is our fundraising week for the broadcast. We have our achievement banner for our goal there for the bills for the month. Please act accordingly and help us meet our goal this week so we can get the bills taken care of. We have until Friday to get that amount that we need in there. And please help us out with that if you can. And this will be our fundraising week, Monday through Friday, to get the bills paid for the week. We also have another achievement banner there for the Rockwall film budget. I'm going to be going out of town a couple of weeks to do some in the field video footage and road trip type stuff. So we definitely need support to make sure that can, all the things that are going to entail that can happen the way they are. It's on. It's for sure happening. But of course, the more support that we get, we'll be able to ensure that we can go to all the locations we need to go to, have the resources we need, and all the rest of this. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to going to some states I've never been to before, and going to get some footage of some big mounds, and probably going to go check out the Georgia Guidestones, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And I'm just going to start with this tonight because, I mean, I've got a lot of news here, but for me and my what I'm doing and what I'm working, I mean, I've been chomping at the bit since like Saturday to tell you guys about this, and a lot of you in the chat room already saw this, but we talked about last week, and those of you who listened to the shows last week even will remember how I was talking about, after I came out with See Right Volume 1, prior to that film coming out, you couldn't find anything anywhere about Council for National Policy information, or even a mention of it in the news or any news archives. Or I even went to the library, and, you know, you can go to the library and look through, you can look through microfilm, and you can just keyword search all this stuff. Nothing there. And then right after See Right Volume 1 came out, boom, here comes Keith Olbermann and MSNBC, and they're talking about this Scahill information, and they're talking about, you know, Paul Bremer, Knights of Malta, and the CMP, and all this stuff that never before they'd ever mentioned. And a lot of my listeners that noticed it, and I noticed it, both said, you know, this seems like they're trying to play damage control, run damage control for your film, because they're coming out with this stuff, saying, oh, look, you know, he's a liar, he's crazy. We have talked about the CP, and then shortly after that, all of a sudden, Alex Jones, who had never mentioned it or brought it up before, all of a sudden, well, that was as a result of a lot of our listeners, because a lot of our listeners were firebombing his fucking radio broadcast for every day on end for months. So those of you out there that did that deserve a fucking medal. But there were probably weren't all just our listeners, but there was a bunch of our listeners a couple of years ago that just made it their goddamn hard-on mission in life and took it upon themselves to call that fucking enchilada-eating bastard every single goddamn day and get hung up on, but sit there and wait on hold just to get a chance to say, hey, Jonesy, why don't you talk about the CMP? Click. Ow, folks, whack, 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 whack. There's plants, folks, whack. COINTELPRO, folks, whack, whack. Until finally, you know, he started having shows and asking guests about it and bringing it up and acting real nervous about it whenever he had to bring it up, and not really giving you too much information about it. And the information he is giving you, he's kind of not really right on and kind of speculative, and he's not saying the name of the group right. He's saying it Council on National Policy instead of Council for National Policy. Common mistake, because there actually is a left-wing CMP group, Council on National Policy, and that's what they're doing intentionally, so that you find, when you go and look into it, you find this other CMP group, or you find another group that's called the CMP and not the actual Council for National Policy. And recently, since I've started to work on this Rockwall film, over the past several weeks and months, we have noticed news stories that seem to be coming out, more and more archaeological stories. And in all these stories, all of a sudden, everything, it seems that they're pushing back the dates on everything. They're pushing back how long mankind's been here, slowly and slowly. Because they know that this rock wall information is going to bring up a lot of questions about just how long there have been people on this planet erecting monuments and building things and having civilizations. And lo and behold, folks, I started getting all kinds of messages about this on Saturday. And everybody was sending me this. I was just blowing up. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Oh, my God. And as soon as I saw it and watched the little news clip here, and I'll drop it in the chat room for you guys in just a minute, I was like, oh, my God, this is it. This is total damage control. Now, let me tell you what they're going to do. They are proposing, and it usually when I went and did the research on this, generally when something gets put on the docket for a vote in front of a city council in the city, specifically like the city of Rockwall, it takes, a lot of times these things are on the docket for years and months and years sometimes and never get approved, and they're there and they sit there. But this just popped up literally overnight and appeared on the document and is going directly to a vote. I'm not sure when they're voting or if they already did. I'm going to try to find that out. But right on the docket to the Rockwall City Council, they're proposing to build with $5 billion of the taxpayers' money, which is a drop in the bucket for the amount of money that Rockwall has. And they want to build a park where near the old stone archway that allegedly led to a piece of the wall. I know exactly where this is. It's right in the old downtown area near where where the mounds, where the town is built on the big mounds. You can see there's just huge dips and huge elevation changes there that are not natural to the area, which is the flatland prairie. Blackland prairie is flat land. And it's, according to my NASA Landsat images that I've linked up on Google Earth, that location is just west of the wall itself. So here again, and this was a location where they had brought people in and told people this was part of the wall, but see again, they did not have access to these Landsat images. So this location that they are proposing to create a park in Rockwall to commemorate and show a piece of the rock wall is, once again, not even a piece of the wall itself, but a structure that was built much later outside of the wall. So what they are attempting to do here, ladies and gentlemen, $5 million, that's not a lot of money. We can shut everybody up about this goddamn rock wall thing. Everybody's been asking too many questions. It's gotten hot, folks. I have single-handedly, because nobody else is talking about this but me in a big way, that's a fact. I have single-handedly pushed these motherfuckers, folks, into a position where they are having to now vote to spend $5 billion of the taxpayers' money to build a park so they can say, oh, look, no, the rock wall, no, it's not buried. Nobody's covering anything up. No, it's not a conspiracy. No, those guys are crazy that say that. It's not a conspiracy. No. Look, see, we spent $5 million to build this nice park. Look, you can see it. Here it is. This is the wall. Shut up. Well, nice try, assholes. Little did you know that I'm in the process of making a film about this now. And you asshats are just making my life so much better because you are proving me even more right with your actions. Yet again, there's an interesting video there you should watch in that article. There's lots of pictures in there I've never seen that aren't online or aren't anywhere. Rockwall considers excavating its historic namesake. Perhaps only the natives know, but Rockwall really is named after a rock wall. A stone archway on private property a few blocks west of the town square is all that remains visible, and even that is overgrown by vines and brush. When I look at it, I think you're going to a secret garden, said Mark Russo, city councilman. It's so tucked away, it's kind of neat. It transports you to a different time for a second. What's going on here? How did this get missed? 3 men first found the rock wall while digging a well in 1852. The stone wall dips more than 7 stories into the earth, so the trio decided to name the town for it. For years, the strange outcropping was something of a sideshow. The owners of private property charged a quarter for admission to the natural wonder, but in 1949, it got filled in with dirt and forgotten. As fast as development's going, it's likely could be developed and a shopping center could be here. Voters will get the first say on what happens as they decide in May. Okay, so it's in May. Whether to spend $5 million to buy the land, excavate the wall, and build a park to showcase it. And I guarantee you they're going to do this. I guarantee this gets approved. I guarantee they go forward with this. Because this is how they're going to try and shut everybody up. Oh, no, that's conspiracy theorists say that, aliens built it or something, and, blah, blah, blah. No. We have already proven before you guys spent a goddamn penny, motherfuckers. I hope you sons of bitches in Rockwall are listening to me right now. I've already proven before you spend one penny that what you're putting up and building and erecting there is a total fraud. That's still well outside of the wall itself. That area is not, I repeat, not a part of the actual rock wall itself, and I have the maps to prove it. So, this is just amazing. It's as false and as phony as that bullshit little rock they've got stacked up there in front of the old courthouse. It's just a modern-day updated version of that is all it is, because that area of old downtown is just becoming like tourist thing now. It's not really, so much a downtown anymore. So this is going to be interesting to watch, and I'm going to actually I'm going to stay on top of this, and once I get a substantial amount of the film put together, I'm gonna definitely go talk to this guy, city councilman here, Mark Russo, and talk to this guy and ask them if I can get permission to come and set up cameras and film the excavation of this area here, because it's a fact. Yes, there is something there in this area, and yes, it is something that had something to do with the wall, but this is outside. The structure's built outside of the wall. They found a tunnel that went like 2 miles underground from where the area where the Rockwall old courthouse is. And by the way, they just built a new courthouse in Rockwall. It's this gigantic fucking Solomon's Temple thing. I'm not shitting you. It's ridiculous. It looks like a giant fucking Masonic cathedral, and it's there. I'm like, hello? Yeah, paying tribute to those alien Freemasons again, are we? Jesus. Sections of the rock are said to be scattered all over the county. Yeah, sections of the rock wall are said to be scattered all over the county. But this piece the city wants to preserve is buried beneath the grass in an open field. Perhaps the greatest debate about whether it's about it all is whether prehistoric Indians built the rock wall or if it is a natural rock formation. Again, see, they're again, apples and oranges, A and B. It's either this or it's either this. That's the two choices. That's all you get. It's just like, presidential candidates. You get to pick from this guy or this guy, but both of them we gave you. So either way, either which one you pick, you're still going to get a choice that was already made for you by us. Same thing here. It's either built by prehistoric Indians or it's a natural rock formation. No. Why can't it be both? Why can't it be more than that? And if you actually look at the rock and look at the geology, you can see a lot of things where this thing was built upon and used. It's so old that for thousands of years, eons after it was originally built, people built onto it through the years. And you can actually see that in the geology where at different levels, you can see whatever the top technology for rocks and buildings were at that time. Because when it gets up to the very top of it, it's almost like a concrete. It is a concrete. The geologist who looked at the first dig said it was a type of concrete. It only goes down about, 2 or 3, 4 feet down, and then you start getting real close down to where the blue shale is. But I love that. Just they're already framing the argument for people ahead of time. Not allowing them to frame the argument. This just makes my work at this so much. I can't believe this is happening now. This is a direct result of my work and the stuff I've been talking about on this, folks. There's no way it's not. There's no way, because so many people are interested about it. People have been leaping to help me and want to help with this thing. I wish people were leaping that same way with cash. We have gotten some help, but we just need whatever we can get in to get this done. So if you want to help us out with that, please, we only got about another week or so left on that shipping banner. So please help us out and help us reach that goal. A lot of people have said they want to help, so please do so if you can. Man, oh man, oh man. It's the number one question we get at the Rockwall Historical Foundation. Where can we go see the rock wall? The answer right now is nowhere. If voters approve the bond, it could take 2 to 5 years to build the park. Shit. 2 to 5 years to build the park. Shit, you better do it quicker than that. Because I'm going to have a fucking spot dug out and you know, set up shop, be charging people $5 a head to come in and see a big ass piece of that thing long before that happens. Shit. I don't even need $5 million. You give me $500,000. Probably not even, I don't know how much, it's pretty expensive out there. But if we, you know, think about that. If we had enough money to just buy a piece of land, and there is property out there for sale around the rock wall, I mean, that's game over, dude. Because with my knowledge of where the wall is, and you go and look and see what properties are for sale, and there are tons out there. Me and my buddy drove out there a month or so ago. You buy a chunk of land, and hey, that's your private property. You can do whatever kind of excavations you want. You want to charge people $10 a head to come look at the wall? Oh, dude, that'd piss them off royal, wouldn't it? Come see the real wall. Don't believe what those phony Rockwallians are telling you. Oh, man, that'd shine them on fucking hardcore. But I was just blown away by this story and blown away by the timing of this. And yeah, they're quite aware that I'm working on this project. That is abundantly clear. Man, oh man, oh man. Let's see what kind of emails we have here to get into. This one I kind of touched on earlier, so I wanted to, didn't really touch on this that much, but it was kind of this thing about prepping. That's from Matt. He says, "Hey Josh, being well aware of the propaganda and psychological operations at play in the conspiracy movement, I had a question for you. I was curious if you take any precautionary measures in case of some national or even local emergency. You made it quite apparent that you think that very little of the show is sponsored by survival gear. But is it not practical to be prepared for at least a few days without resources, or is this all just a game and bait for the naive? Your thoughts? Thanks." Okay, well, it's a great question, Matt, and I'll tell you, this is one of those questions kind of like whenever you start talking about overpopulation and stuff like that. Overpopulation is one of those topics you get into, and nobody really wants to talk about it because no matter what you believe, and even if you believe that, you know, what we believe with these elite cocksuckers around the world, it's still not a comfortable topic because there still is a problem. That overpopulation is a problem, but how you fix it is not a very comfortable thing to have to come to grips with or really discuss, you know. And so that question that you asked is kind of the same way, and my answer has always kind of been, for the longest time, you know, just use your own judgment on that. But I got to tell you, and I don't mean to sound fear-mongerish or, you know, doom-mongerish or anything with my beliefs on this. It just goes hand in hand with what I've researched and what I've seen. I don't foresee there being, I mean, okay, think about this. This is the way they kind of lie it out. They kind of lay it out for you in terms of the Patriot Movement, Truth Movement, and the people selling these products. They put out this kind of, I don't know where they get this, but it seems to me either a complete false idea or a misrepresented idea, one or the other, where you somehow, okay, there's in the future, there's going to be an event, whether it be a financial collapse, economic collapse, a world war, martial law, civil unrest, civil war, whatever it may be. Pick one, a pandemic, you know, alien invasion. I mean, who knows? And then essentially what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of turmoil, and you're not going to be able to get food and water, and you're not going to be able to get your hands on any guns or ammo or MREs or anything like that. So what you want to do is you want to go and get all those things and hoard them up in case one day there is a tornado, earthquake, tsunami, flood, disaster, drought, locusts, aliens, 9/11, whatever it may be, Civil War, civil unrest, World War III, plagues, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, whatever. And so that you'll always have these things in case one of these things plays out. And that what's going to happen is one of these scenarios is going to happen, and then it's going to be chaos, blah, 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 for a while, and then everything's going to go back to normal again. I don't see it as that. I don't see there being some sort of thing where, oh, well, all we'll have to do is hunker down in our bunkers for a couple of days, and there's going to be a financial collapse, and there's going to be this, but all you'll have to do is just have, lots of Berkey water filters and lots of MREs and lots of weapons and guns and lots of gold. And if you have all those things, then you can just ride it out, and after it's over, life will just go back to normal. It'll be the same way it always was, and thank God you were prepared. And I think that's a false reality. I don't see that in my research as being the reality that will play out if and when they do decide to fully pull the plug on this thing. I don't foresee there being a period of time, if they ever decide to fully pull the plug, folks, I don't see a time where we'll just ride it out and go back to life as normal and business as normal. That day may or may never come. I don't get into the business of saying that day is around the corner or it's coming here or there, because the fact of the matter is, I don't know, you don't know, they don't know, nobody knows, and all we can do is speculate. But I can tell you that my gut tells me that if they ever do decide to pull the plug on that level, all the goddamn Berkey water filters and storable food and everything else in the goddamn world is not going to save your ass when it's time to meet your maker. And you could get hit by a fucking fire truck or have a piano drop on your head on your way to buy your storable foods for your bug out bunker. You realize that? Live your life right now today. You're here right now today, aren't you? The New World Order is not banging down your door right now as we speak. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to hear the sound of my voice. So obviously things are okay right now at this second, in this moment. So while you're here, right now in this moment, be here and be alive and live your life. I have incorporated all of this in this search for the truth into my life. So every second of my life is that, and that's what it is. But that's okay. My life is this, and that's why it's always exciting and always new. But the fact of the matter is that, if you're constantly worried about when the sky is going to fall, you're going to miss being able to look at the sky. I tell you what you can do, though, if you just an in case thing. You all have, no matter where you live, you have a dollar store, a Dollar General store, something like that in your town. I know you do. Take a $100 bill. For some people, $100 is not a lot of money. For some people, it is a lot of money. But think about all the things that you spend bullshit on all the time. Gum and whatever horse shit else you buy. Beer and malt liquor, whatever it is. Get yourself a $100 bill and go down to the dollar store. And there are things which you can buy. You can buy enough things with a $100 bill at the dollar store that will enable you to be able to survive for well over a year. Those little canned hams, those motherfuckers last for eons. Those are great eating. High protein. Get those. Sardines are nasty, but if you absolutely had to eat them, it'd be better than having to eat yourself or your friend or your family member. Just on and on. Bottles of water you can get there, cheap as fuck. Anything that's canned meats, canned chickens, things like that, stuff that lasts, canned goods that last forever. You can build yourself a nice little bug out box for you yourself, maybe your, family member or two or whatever, for like $100, just going and doing that. And you don't ever have to worry about it ever again. And you don't have to be, that doesn't have to make you a freak or chicken little thing in the sky is falling. But, you'll at least know that if something does go down that's, that is somewhat mild, you'll be somewhat prepared for that. But, look, I don't think that, we're just going to see, we'll just ride it out and it'll go back to normal eventually. I just don't see that happening. So thanks for the email there, Matt. Let's see what else we have here. This is from Blindog. He says, how can I help? Hi, Josh. I very much enjoy and have also been greatly informed by your work, and I would feel honored to give you some help if possible. I am an artist up in Canada, and I see and am very much against this New World Order. I recently done a piece of work which I gave to Chris Green. Chris at Green Wave Radio. What he plans to do with it, I have no idea. I'd be glad to do the same for you, and then you could possibly auction it off through videos or on your website, or put people who donate to your site amounts greater than, say, 10 or 20 bucks to draw to win it. Or perhaps you will like it and can just keep it. I don't care, but I know and understand you need support. I make no great amounts myself with subject matter and seemingly paranoid rants, but it's okay because I get by. So if this interests you, send me an email and I will send you some pictures of it and look at it. We will try to come up with a painting for you. It will cost you nothing and it should get you a return. And again, thanks for doing what you're doing. I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, well, thanks. That's a nice idea. Maybe I'll do that. We'll have to see. Let's see what else we have here. This is from Michael. He says, hey, Josh, just in reference to your Thursday show, I've been noticing this zombie trend being forced down our throats for the last 2 years. The last year being the most intense, several major motion pictures, games, and products. After listening to your show and doing my own research for the last year, my bullshit detector has become very sensitive. 2 weeks ago, I had a horrible dream. I had to kill my whole family because they were very sick and insane. Even the firearms industry is pushing this zombie shit with zombie hunter guns and accessories. I see this for what it is, and I had the thought that maybe the senseless murder of family members and colleagues around the country are somehow related to this bullshit. Best wishes, my friend, and thank you so much, Michael from Michigan. All right, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Good points there. Definitely pushing that zombie agenda. I mean, when I remember when the swine flu stuff broke out a couple of years ago, there's a news report. You can probably still go and find it. I think it was Fox News or something. I don't remember. It was BBC. I can't remember. But, yeah, the CDC, I think it was, Center for Disease Control and some other groups, actually ran simulations on the outcome, the possibility of a zombie apocalypse. I mean, really, literally ran the numbers to see what would happen. I had thought the whole zombie thing was bullshit, never paid attention to it. And boy, I tell you what, when I saw that article, I was taken aback, like, oh no. Oh, no. God damn it. Why didn't I fucking see this already? Jesus Christ. They're going to run the goddamn zombie thing, aren't they? They're really going to do it. All these goddamn movies we've been seeing our whole lives about zombies, video games about zombies, and I always wondered my whole life what the fucking obsession with zombies was. I never got it. To me, I go out and I go to the mall, or I can go see as many zombies as I want to see. You know what I mean? Go to Hot Topic. You will see as many zombies as you want in minutes. So I never understood the obsession with that. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks when I saw them running that simulation. Oh, God damn it. Why didn't I see this? We're going to live to see the goddamn zombie apocalypse after all. And I had a very vivid dream about being a zombie apocalypse. And it was littered with all kinds of symbolism. My friend Summer was kind of picking through it and stuff. The stuff that I was in, that's when I told you guys about fucking Billy Joe from Green Day was like a zombie, and I saw him get his fucking head blown off, and it was just rad. City of Memphis, Tennessee was all flooded out except for Sun Records. It was up on the hill. Sun, where all the Elvis and all the great records were recorded and stuff. And my friend Summer said, my God, that's not symbolic. And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't even think about it. She's like, come on, Sun Records, the sun. Everything else is flooded, but it's not flooded. Memphis was a city on the Nile, in Egypt. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. Crazy stuff. Let's see here. That's from Andre. Says, hi, Josh. I was listening to you talk about the Temple of Hathor. I was watching a YouTube documentary the other day, What Lies in Plain Sight, and he pointed out that that a temple at Dendera was disassembled and moved to New York and reassembled and dedicated to Onassis. I about fucking fell over. Anyway, I thought you should know. I'll have to look into that. I hadn't heard about that. I can't verify that if that's true or not, but I'll look into it. That's crazy. Here's another one from Matt, who had the question earlier about the to prepare or not prepare stuff. Hi, Josh. It seems like your research would vibe with Nassim Harriman. Am I correct in this assumption? Do you have an opinion on him? I can't imagine you haven't come across him. Thanks. Yeah, back in, I think, I was trying to remember what year that was. It was 2008, 2009. I can't remember, somewhere in there. I was on Oracle at the time, and just literally out of nowhere overnight, everybody I knew was talking about this guy. So I went and looked into some of his stuff, and I don't know, it all kind of seemed like theoretical hodgepodge, new agey type stuff to me. And then I heard that he had a lot of connections to some of these UN, United Nations, UN NGOs, Club of Budapest or Club of Rome or some stuff like that or something. I don't know. And it seemed like everybody I know and people in my chat room they were constantly trying to force his information on me and my listeners. People would come in and drop his videos literally like 50 times a day in my chat room, to the point where I had to start banning people for it. And I felt like he was being pushed on, and I've never really looked into the guy and tried to expose him any further or anything, but I'll just tell you what my gut, I go with what my gut instinct tells me, and my gut instinct about that guy combined with the stuff I've heard him talk about and everything, some of that stuff very well could be true, but I just don't buy into him. He seems like a greasy used car salesman to me. But again, you know what? That's my opinion. That doesn't have to be your opinion. You asked me a question, I gave you an honest answer. Sometimes I hate answering those kind of questions because then people get all butthurt at me when I'm honest with them. They get on, you don't like my hero, my favorite researcher, so you're a fan. I hate you. Bleh. Like, come on, dude. You ask me an honest question and I give you an honest answer. Don't get mad at me because you don't like my opinion. That's my opinion. Don't ask me my opinion about something if you're going to get butthurt about what I say. I just want to put that out there as a blanket statement to everybody in the whole goddamn world. People do that to me, and I'm just honest about what they ask me, and then they get butthurt about it. I'm like, well, you told me to be honest. Had people do that to me before. Honestly, tell me, what do you think about, what do you think about my new girlfriend? I think she's a fucking total cunt, to be honest with you. What? How dare you? You fucking asshole, I'm gonna beat your ass. Well, dude, don't ask me, to be honest with you and get mad when I tell you the honest answer. I love how it's just people want you to just constantly say what they want to hear. So what do you think, man? What do you think? What do you think about this chick? She's a fucking cunt. That's what I think. Oh, dare you? How dare you? Well, don't ask. Oh, man. Let's see what else we have here. All right, I think that's it for emails. We got a whole bunch of news to get into here tonight on the broadcast. I want to thank everybody for being here with us tonight, late night Moonbat edition. We are moonbatting it up. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. And I hope you all had a nice weekend out there and took some time to relax. We had another episode number 6 last night of the Sunday Night Music Review Show, which is this music show thing I'm doing where I just play music and stuff. Definitely check that show out. Live on Sunday nights around 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's not every Sunday night, so some weeks we have it, some weeks we don't, but it's just been a nice little counter thing to doing this that's been nice for my sanity, just to do something for one night that's not on a computer researching, this kind of stuff, just to get my head out of that space and just to be in a music space for a couple of hours. It's really done wonders for me, I got to tell you. It really did. It's really made me feel a lot more optimistic and better during the week about, getting, because it doesn't matter what you do in life, folks. Even if you do what you love to do in life, there still becomes a grind to it. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I love and loving what I do, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and so that's what I'm doing, and I'm going to not stop. But it becomes a grind like anything else, and I think that's where a lot of people go wrong in doing this stuff. Is yes, you have to be dedicated to it, and yes, you have to work your ass off and really get nowhere for doing it. But it's just what you have to do, and you have to be willing to do that. You have to get over that when you do this kind of stuff like I do, man. You got to get over that want of that return, or that I got over that a long time ago. Thank goodness. The thing about. Because look, I put 50, 60 hours in a week sometimes, maybe 70 hours a week sometimes working on this stuff. And, there's not a paycheck at the end of the week for me to be able to go out and hang out with my friends and stuff that are working regular jobs and go out and have a weekend and go have fun. No, there isn't that for me. I'll put in 60, 70 hours a week sometimes. And there's, I'm worried about if we're going to pay the bills or not. You know what I mean? So you have to, there's so many mental things that you have to get over when you start doing stuff like this, because you have to realize that, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, it's not always going to be easy, but, you definitely, the reward is that you get to see, experience, and learn about things you wouldn't have seen, experienced any other way. And that's definitely what doing this all these years has been about for me. And that's why it's changed my life so much. So we're going to take a break, come back, and get into a whole... All right, back here with you on the Global Reality, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for yet again another late-night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. We got a lot of news to get into in this segment of the show here tonight. So thanks for being with us. My website where this broadcast originates from is theglobalreality.com. That's www.theglobalreality.com. You'll find everything pertaining to my work up there. If you ordered See Right Volume 2 DVDs and you still have not received those, please send me an email, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. And I'll make sure you're on the ones that are going out, that I got going out. I haven't been able to get to the post office recently. So we've gotten behind a week or so in shipping for some that should have already been out. And so I had to do some refunds to a couple of folks. But that's the way it is, Anyway, just send me an email if you haven't got those yet. And I will make sure those are going out to you tomorrow. So that's when I'm going to be sending the rest out that hadn't gotten theirs yet. So. There you go. This is our fundraising week for the show, theglobalreality.com, and we don't have outside sponsors, and we don't have any funding or anything else that comes in to keep this thing afloat every month, and it's done by the support of our listening audience. So the shipping banner is there. Help us meet our goal to pay the bills for that. And we also have the other one, whichever one you want to help us out on, either one of those shipping banners. If you're torn, I want to help on the rock wall thing, but I want to help out on the just pick one. That's all I can really say there. But let's get into the news here tonight. Mysterious geologic structure seen from space. Well, this is interesting, considering it's in Africa and all the stuff we've been hearing about there. A huge copper tone formation in Western Africa dominates a mesmerizing photo taken by an astronaut aboard the International Space Station. Dutch astronaut André Kuipers snapped this hypnotic image of the so-called Richat structure in Mauritania as the space station flew over the Sahara Desert on the Atlantic coast of West Africa. Erosion of the various rock layers created the ring-like features that make up the sprawling structure. But the origin of the Richat structure remains somewhat mysterious, geologists have said. The photo shows Kuiper's unique vantage point from the orbiting complex, which flies approximately 240 miles above the surface of the Earth. The image was taken on March 7th using a Nikon D2XS camera, officials at the European Space Agency said in a statement. During their month-long stints toward the International Space Station, astronauts perform Earth observations for scientific and public outreach. This, to me, looks like it could be one of the famed landing places that, yeah, that's prime Dogon country. Yeah, you're right, DJ. But to me, it looks like it could be one of these possible landing places that have been talked about. Could that be the answer to the question as to why there's been all this importance on Africa, why they've been trying to take over Africa, and why, the eugenics operations have been running there and all the other operations going on there? I mean, could that be it? Could it be because they've located some sort of ancient landing spot? Again, geologists don't know, hide nor hair what it's doing there. And the rest of the information in this article doesn't say anything else about what that is, but it's very interesting. I'll drop a picture of it there in the chat room so you can see it. But yeah, that is very, very interesting. I mean, it does. If you were, seeing that from space, think about it. I mean, you're seeing that from that vantage point. That would look to you like a good place to land, wouldn't it? That's highly interesting. Oh, is that proof that the blacks really are running the whole conspiracy? It's because there's a landing pad in Africa? Okay, all right. Thanks for clearing that up for me. Oh, man, some people. Let's see what else we got here. You guys hear old Darth Cheney got a ticker replacement? I mean, usually people at 71 don't get heart transplants. Usually younger people get those. Not old Darth Cheney, though. No, he's going to be sticking around for a long time. He's more machine now than man. Twisted and evil. Oh, my God. The guy is fucking Darth Vader, isn't he? Unbelievable. Hippies head for Noah's Ark. Queue here for rescue aboard alien spaceship. Thousands of New Agers descend upon mountain they see as haven from December's apocalypse. A mountain looming over a French commune with a population of just 200 is being touted as a modern Noah's Ark when doomsday arrives, supposedly less than 9 months from now. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, the world's going to end in 9 months from now. Well, you know what? That's a good thing I always live my life like it's the end of the earth anyway, because, man, 9 months, I wasn't even thinking about that. Fuck. Cool. Well, 9 months and we won't have to worry about any of this shit anymore, right? I don't know about you, but I'm not nervous about even if something is to happen. I'm not even nervous about it. I mean, bring it on. Bring it on. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Let's tango. Let's see some shit. Let's see what you got. But nothing's going to happen. You know it. I know it. A rapidly increasing stream of New Age believers, or esoterics, as locals call them, have descended in their camper van loads on the unusually picturesque and tranquil pioneering village of Bugarik. They believe that when apocalypse strikes on December 21st of this year, the aliens waiting in their spacecraft inside Bugarik will save all the humans nearby and beam them off to the next age. Oh, you wish, don't you? I wish. That'd be great. I'm down, If they want to beam me in a spaceship and take me somewhere, I'm down right now. Let's go. But you can go ahead and keep that starfish anal probe to yourself there. No, that's just funny to me. No, sadly, I think you fucks are going to die down here with the rest of us. As the cataclysmic date, which according to eschatological beliefs and predicted astrological alignments concludes, a 5,125-year cycle in the Mesoamerican long count calendar nears, the goings-on around the peak have become more bizarre and ritualistic. For decades, there have been a belief that Piktabarak which at 1,230 meters is the highest in the Cordilleras mountain range, possess an eerie power. Often called the upside-down mountain, geologists think that it exploded after its formation and the top landed the wrong way up. You mean like it was blown out from the inside? It is thought to have inspired Jules Verne's Journey to the Center of the Earth and Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Since the 1960s, it has attracted New Agers who insist that it emits special magnetic waves. Further rumors persist that the country's late president, Francois Mitterrand, was transported by helicopter onto the peak while the Nazis and later Israel's Mossad performed mysterious digs there. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. They were looking for Anunnaki artifacts again. Should have fucking known. I didn't want to start reading that into this. But Nazis and the Israeli Mossad were doing digs there? Oh, come on. And the New Agers just happened to flock there? Yeah, there's something there. It's another one of the... think about how many different locations all over the earth, spread around all over the earth that the Sumerian texts talk about that there were. Now the nearby village is awash with New Agers who have boosted the local economy, though their naked group climbs up to the peak have raised concerns as well as eyebrows. Among other oddities, some hikers have been spotted scaling the mountain carrying a ball with a golden ring strung together by a single thread. A grizzled man wearing a white linen smock who calls himself Gene set up a yurt in the forest a couple of years ago to prepare for the Earth's demise. The apocalypse, we believe, in is the end of a certain world and the beginning of another, he offers. A new spiritual world. The year 2012 is the end of a cycle of suffering. Bugark is one of the major chakras of the earth, a place devoted to welcoming the energies of tomorrow. Upwards of 100,000 people are thought to be planning a trip to the mountain 30 miles west of Perpignan in time for the 21st of December, and opportunistic entrepreneurs are shamelessly cashing in on the phenomenon. While American travel agents have been offering special one-way deals to witness the end of the world, that's great. It's a one-way ticket to go witness the end of the world. You don't need a return because you're not going to be coming back. Oh, that's great. That's precious. See how these fuckers are cashing in on this stuff, folks? That's how you know not a goddamn thing's going to happen. But I'm not going to take any chances. I'm still going to high ground. Fuck it. Oh, man. Jean-Pierre Delord, the perplexed mayor of Bugark, has flagged up the situation to the French authorities, requesting they scramble the army to the tiny village for fear of a mass suicide. Has also caught the attention of France's sect watchdog Milivoltes. A genial sexagenarian, Mr. Delord says, we've seen a huge rise in visitors. Already this year, more than 20,000 people have climbed right to the top. And last year, we had 10,000 hikers, which was a significant rise on the previous 12 months. They think the Pic de Bugark is an alien garage. Well, that's an interesting way of putting it, an alien garage. Didn't it talk about in the Sumerian text there was some place that was inside a mountain that one of the other gods ripped open? It was they were keeping the terror weapons in there and some craft or something, and one of these other gods, Ninurta or somebody, ripped it open and got the terror weapons out and then unleashed them. The UFO garage, the alien garage, that's interesting. The villagers are exasperated. The exaggerated importance of something which they see as completely removed from reality is bewildering. After December 21st, this will surely return to normal. Masking his fears of what might happen on December 21st, Mr. Delord jokes that he will throw a party and supply vin chaud and cheese. I'm sure we'll have a little fete to celebrate that we're still alive, I suppose. The fucking French are always talking about fucking cheese. God damn, Frenchie. Put the fucking cheese down for 2 seconds and talk about 2012. Christ almighty. God damn. You can't even conduct an interview with one of these French motherfuckers. They got to throw in a reference to cheese. Oh, let me have some cheese. The fuck? Screw you, Frenchie. I mean, Jesus. Every fucking, it's like people talk about, oh, stereotypes. Then you see some shit like that and they play right into it. God damn. Fool could not stop talking about cheese for 2 seconds. That just blows my mind. God damn, that's funny. That is just too funny. Oh, man. Big Brother just got scarier. Japanese CCTV camera can scan 36 million faces per second and recognize anyone who has walked into its gaze. A new camera technology from Hitachi Hosaka Electric can scan days of camera footage instantly and find any face which has ever walked past it. Its makers boast that it can scan 36 million faces per second. The technology raises the specter of governments or other organizations being able to find anyone instantly simply using a passport photo or a Facebook profile. The trick is that the camera processes faces as it records so that all the faces which pass in front of it are recorded and stored instantly. Yeah, it's biometrics, dude. And they told us for years, oh, biometrics, oh, we just want that technology so we can use that to keep track of illegal aliens. That's the only reason why I want biometrics. All these conspiracy theorists say that's a mark of the beast. Ain't no mark of the beast. Just how we're going to get them goddamn dirty Mexicans out of the country. Right. And then boom, here it is. Oh, yeah. Facial recognition and biometric cameras that scan 36 million faces a second, and they're using these on the streets. And that's just keep them dirty illegals out here. Faces are stored as a searchable biometric record, storing the unique. When the police or anyone else want to search the particular individual, they're searching through a gallery of pre-indexed faces rather than a messy library of footage. Shabanga, there it is. Wrap it up. And, yeah, it's here. And again, you got to be looking for, the whole thing about it is that this stuff's going in because it's going to get to the point to where everybody is the enemy that doesn't think like the state. So they're putting this stuff preemptively for things they're going to be doing in the years to come. This stuff is going in not to even be used per se right now. But it's almost like they're setting it up, putting this stuff in, so it'll be there for this future regime, whoever that may be, foreign or domestic, who knows what kind of regime it'll be. But I think they're putting all this stuff in now for some future regime. Well, the United States probably doesn't exist in the way it exists now, comes in, and boom, all the infrastructure already built there for, this much more oppressive force than what we're even currently dealing with, which I think is the possibility. Everybody talks about, that's what nobody thinks about in terms of, let's change things. We got to get in there and get our candidate in there, and that's all we need to do. System's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with the system. System's just fine. We just got to get our people in there that are for the Constitution and for people's rights, and get them in there, and then it'll be work that system the right way. Bullshit, dude. The system works you. You don't work the system. And you choose to become a part of it, or you choose to be outside of it. And if you choose to be a part of it, then your life's going to be a lot better. I mean, you're not going to change things by just getting a new person in there. And I think that, they're definitely setting this up for something coming down the road. What else we have here tonight? You guys hear about this newest divide and conquer, racial divide and conquer? They're running operation. They're running with this Trayvon Martin thing. I mean, it's just what a bunch of horse shit this is. I mean, Black Panthers are calling for a $10,000 bounty on this guy's head, who now the stuff's come out about this kid that he was kicked out of school for marijuana. He had already, that he assaulted this guy, but they jumped all over this immediately and started saying this was some kind of racial thing. And now the facts are coming out that it just seems like it wasn't. And now all the guys like, Jesse and the gang are standing around looking fucking retarded, but they don't want to back down, even though they, they know the information's coming out. I mean, even this kid's mom is cashing in on it by having his name trademarked so she can own all the money that comes in from the merchandise from it. You tell me that she's not trying to capitalize on her son's death? Give me a break. But this is what our society has been denigrated to where people think that this kind of behavior is okay. And, it's the best thing to do in these situations is to see them for what they are and then walk away from them. If you don't participate in them, then they don't win. They need us to participate in these things that are, about race and me versus you and all this other stuff, so that we're fighting with each other, so we're never fucking fighting them and figuring out what they're up to. None of this stuff we would even be fighting about if they didn't throw it in our face and try to make it an issue with people when it's not. But see, when people think something's an issue because they hear about it, then they just instinctively make that an issue in their life and externalize that in their own lives. Obama says that he'll have more space to talk about missile defense with Medvedev in Russia after his election. So right there, as we've seen many times, we've seen this in the past referenced in other things. They know ahead of time who's already going to be in there. It's going to be 4 more years with Obama. Everybody should already know that. But they always try to make a good game of it and make it seem like everything's legit when it's not. They know who ahead. They've known for years before time who's going to be president. I mean, who was it? Kathy O'Brien, who said that she heard a conversation back in the 80s between Bush Sr. and Bill Clinton, and they were talking about Bill Clinton being president as if it was already a foregone conclusion. I mean, these guys are selected years beforehand. Microchip school uniforms notify parents when kids skip school. Oh, this is great technology. Now, they're now putting LoJack on your children. This has been going on for some time, but it's getting more complex and more sophisticated. In Vitória da Conquista, Brazil, 20,000 grade school students have recently started wearing uniforms embedded with GPS chips similar to those used in pet trackers. The chips automatically send parents a text message as soon as their children enter the school grounds, or if their children are late for more than 20 minutes. The microchip is embedded either under the school's coat of arms or in one of the sleeves, according to the city's education secretary, Coriolano Moraes. The local government decided to launch the project because parents would always be surprised when told the number of times their children skipped class. So yeah, just fucking LoJack them. Put a goddamn tracker on them. Fuck it. We got the technology. Let's do this. Scientists find gene that can make flu a killer. Oh, is it they just haven't ever known about that? Well, why would you? The only way you can find something. Let's just sum up that phrase there. It's from Reuters, by the way. Scientists find gene that can make flu a killer. Now, in order to find something, what does that mean? That means you had to go looking for it first, right? So scientists were looking for a gene. That's what they should have titled this article, to be more truthful. Let's retitle this article for them, shall we? Scientists went looking for a gene that can make flu a killer and found it. I think that's a lot more truthful. That way we just know up front, oh, they actually went looking for that, for a gene to make it a killer. Of course. Staph infections, Lyme disease, MSRA, MRSA, whatever it is, all that stuff. Drug-resistant staph, bird flu, all this. Yeah, of course. These are being weaponized by the medical industrial complex, which is a extension of the big banks, which is in turn an extension of the priest class, and they are creating these mass plagues so that in their technological Darwinism, they can offer up the cure to all those who have plenty of money and plenty of ways to pay for it. But everybody else, all the low classes of people who can't afford these expensive treatments, well, you're just going to die off. And then we're going to see more and more and more of this, folks, from stuff that they're going to be creating and putting out there. It's going to, you think it's bad now, you haven't even seen the worst of it yet. It's going to be regular big business. A genetic discovery could help explain why flu makes some people seriously ill or kills them, while others seem to be able to bat it away with little more than a few aches, coughs, and sneezes. In a study published in the journal Nature on Sunday, British and American researchers said that they had found for the first time a human gene that influences how people respond to flu infections, making some people more susceptible than others. The finding helps explain why during the 2009-2010 pandemic of H1N1, or the swine flu, the vast majority of people infected had only mild symptoms, while others, many of them healthy young adults, got seriously ill and died. In the future, the genetic discovery could help doctors screen patients to identify those more likely to be brought down by flu, allowing them to be selected for priority vaccination or preventative treatment during outbreaks, the researchers said. It could also help develop new vaccines or medicines against potentially more dangerous viruses, such as the bird flu. Paul Kellum of British Sanger Institute, who co-led the study and presented the findings in a telephone briefing, said the gene called ITFITM3 appeared to be a crucial first line of defense against the flu. But when it was present in large quantities, the spread of the virus in lungs was hindered, he explained. But when IFITM3 levels were lower, the virus could replicate and spread more easily, causing more severe symptoms. People who carried a particular variant of IFTIM3 were far more likely to be taken to the hospital when they got flu than people who carry the other variants, he said. Our research is important for people who have this variant, as we predict their immune defenses could be weakened to some virus infections. Ultimately, as we learn more about the genetics of susceptibility to virus, then people can take informed precautions such as vaccination to prevent infection. But they don't tell us how they found the June. They found what can make it. Oh, okay. I understand here. They found what makes it. Well, that's even more terrifying, isn't it? So they've effectively found how in some people, this particular element is present. And so it won't affect those people as much. But then other people, when it's not present, well, it makes them very sick and they can die from it. So all they have to do is figure out how to bypass that. Then they can make sure that everybody that gets these flu strains dies from it and nobody is immune from it. That's what all this study and this money is going to. So if that doesn't make you tremble, I don't know what is. I mean, that's not even something, that's, again, that stuff, most people, they overlook that in the news every day and don't even see a story like that. And that's just huge. Because right there, they're telling you that now they've figured out what makes the flu tick and what makes it, and some people get it bad, other people's not. So now they can start engineering ones where it affects everybody. And this big business, we're talking trillions of dollars, especially now that we're going to these socialized medicine systems all the way across the board. Romney's cousin says Mormonism is a fraud. Well, this is not good PR. Mitt Romney's second cousin, Park Romney. I'm Park Romney, huh? Hello, let's go hit the links, yes. My cousin's name is Mitt. Yes. What kind of asshole calls himself, what kind of asshole calls his child Mitt? Is that like a catching mitt? Your name is Mitt. My name is Mitt Romney. My name is Park Romney. Let's go hit the links, Buffy. Once was a Mormon high priest. Well, you know what they say about Mormon high priests. You know how you got. There's only one way you can get to be a Mormon high priest, and you know what that is.
You gotta suck a lot of Satan's cock, baby. Oh, yeah. A whole lot. Believe me, I know.
Yeah, well, thanks our man in the field there, Satan, with his update. Park told BBC recently that he left the church because I became convinced that it's a fraud. Oh, right. So this is one of those rare cases where this guy got all the way up to the upper echelons of Mormon high priest and thought that it was all about, getting your dick sucked, right? And then realized when he got up to the top, it was all about getting your dick sucked by little boys and putting your finger in little boys' assholes. And he was like, oh, peace, I'm out. Yeah, I didn't know this was a gay party later. There is compelling evidence that the Mormon church leaders knowingly and willfully misrepresent the historical truth of their origins and of the church for the purpose of deceiving their members into a state of mind that renders them exploitable. He explained. Park points to one of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints' foundational documents, the Book of Abraham, which church founder Joseph Smith claimed to have translated from an Egyptian scroll. After examining the translations, British Assyriologist Dr. Archibald Henry Sayce determined that it was difficult to deal with Joseph Smith's impudent fraud. His facsimile from the Book of Abraham, number 2, is an ordinary hypocephalus, but the hieroglyphics upon it have been copied too ignorantly that hardly any one of them is correct. So the hieroglyphs that have been copied on the scrolls aren't even correct. Yeah, well, it was a front to practice Freemasonry in secret anyway. So all the Egyptian iconography that Joseph Smith took and used in that was taken from the stuff that he got from the Masonic teachings. London University's Dr. W.M. Flinders Petrie also agreed that there is not one single word that is true in these explanations. But Harvard Kennedy School professor Robert Putnam told BBC that the former Massachusetts governor of religion is often questioned in the U.S. because Americans value freedom of religion. It's not something you're supposed to talk about, Putnam said. Whatever the issue of Romney's Mormonism has come to the surface, there's been lots of condemnation across the political spectrum for raising the issue of his religion. I'm not saying that it's not relevant, but it's not talked about in polite company. For his part, Park claimed that the church encouraged his family to shun him after he began to question their tenets. And this is, of course, this is, again, another nice little divide and conquer operation, because, of course, they're throwing in a lot of truth there, aren't they? Why all of a sudden are they offering us up this, information showing conveniently what a fraud it is? And, oh, my God, the hieroglyphics weren't even right. Why all of a sudden is that a big deal? It's a big deal because Romney's a presidential candidate. He's a blue blood. This is part of that divide and conquer thing they're doing, where for years and years and years, they've built up religion only to now start groups and New Age movements and all this other stuff to have a new side for them, so you can pit the believers against the non-believers and, again, make us all kill each other, so we're not ever figuring out who's running the show and going after them instead of fighting with each other. I mean, my God, that's a big part of this is all about that, folks. That's why it's constantly there in everything that you research. They want us to be at each other's throats, because then we're too busy to go after the people that are really causing us to have these mindsets and these beliefs and all this other stuff that we're all attempted to be programmed with. And when you break through that, well, of course, you're crazy now. Yeah, you're crazy. Anybody who's, broken free of that way of thinking, oh, it just must be out of your mind because you don't think like everybody else does. No, fuck you. Only a programmed fucking robot with no soul would say something like that. Two small asteroids give Earth a close shave. Again, ramping it up. I love how these every day we come close to being hit by an asteroid, but we don't tell you till afterwards. Oh, by the way, since you went to bed last night, Earth was almost hit by 18 asteroids. They came within 2 miles of the Earth, but thank goodness we didn't get hit and we're still alive and you woke up today. So get out there and live your life, hotshot. Two tiny asteroids dipped close by Earth today, passing between our planet and the orbit of the moon, but pose no threat of impacting our world, NASA scientists say. The two space rocks flew by Earth in rapid fire. One zoomed by early in the day while the other buzzed the planet at 1:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, according to the astronomers at NASA's Asteroid Watch program. Both are very small, under 10 meters, and pose no risk. Okay, no, well, great. Then why report on it? You understand? I mean, and if you go here to this article from space.com, on top of the article, there's 3 other articles about asteroids. So they're just pumping this out hard and heavy now, trying to get everybody, everybody up in arms, thinking that the asteroid threat is the next big threat we're all going to have to face. And by the way, give us all your tax money and help let us build space-based weapons, and we'll defend against this. And oh, lo and behold, we'll use those same space-based weapons to defend against the aliens as well. I mean, it's such a joke. But because of these international treaties and these things that don't allow these space-based weapons to be up there legitimately, they have to have get us to, acquiesce to having those put up there and funding them so that, there's some kind of a threat they can tell us is going to get us if we don't. If you ever have a strawberry frappuccino or anything strawberry from Starbucks or pretty much anywhere else, it is generally made of bugs. So that's good to know. At least it's not artificial, at least it's not chemicals, right? It's just bugs. Luzmila Ruiz holds a spool of dyed yarn made from the cochineal insect, which is crushed in her hand, as well as a ball made up of thousands of crushed insects. In this November 2006 file photo, you can now get your Starbucks strawberry frappuccino venti, grande, or tall. You just can't get it without insects, to which it owes its pink and rosy color. So that color that those things, I've seen people drinking those. I've never had one myself, but I don't dig on Starbucks. I've only been there once or twice through the years. But so that I always saw those people sucking on those, and I saw somebody drinking one of those one time. And I was like, my God, that looks like blood red. It really is blood red. Insect blood red. The best kind of red, right? I mean, I'm telling you, dude, reptilians, you start to see. I mean, that's only a reptilian would come up with that, right? Only a reptile would want. That's what it is. That's why these Starbucks are all in the upper, hoity-toity Wall Street and, upper, like financial district areas. I mean, they're all over the place, but, it got hot with the yuppie crowd. That's who it became hot with first, right? Starbucks? It was the yuppie crowd from the beginning. And a lot of those are reptiles, They wanted some insects in their coffee. I mean, my God. They got to get their protein, their insect protein in there, so, that's how we'll do it. We'll get everybody to buy this overpaid coffee, and we'll tell them it's all natural, and we won't be lying by saying it's all natural, but we just won't tell them what all natural means, and we certainly won't tell them that all natural means crushed up bugs to make the strawberry frappuccino red. Before you get all cold and bothered about your insect frappuccino, cochineal is considered safe by the FDA and is widely used for coloration in jams, preserves, meat, marinades, alcoholic drinks, bakery products, cookies, cheddar cheese, and many other foods. So pretty much if you or I or any of us have eaten any of those things I just said, I pretty much say every single one of us has at some point. Jams, preserves, meat, marinades, alcoholic drinks, bakery products, cookies, cheddar cheese, and many other food products. Yeah, we're all eating fucking insect bugs. We should have fucking known. Man, oh man. Terrified teenagers kidnapped at gunpoint during fake armed raid on a church group to teach them about the persecution of Christian missionaries. Now, we've seen this kind of thing before in schools. They come in and make them think that it's, the army's coming in, and they send soldiers in, and the kids are literally shitting themselves, pissing themselves, scared, and then they tell them it's just a drill. It's trauma-based mind control, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Don't even have to go into it and detail it or even go too deep into it. Trauma-based mind control, that's all it is. In this case, again, it's Christians. Big surprise. They are the main progenitors of trauma-based mind control. That's their whole shtick is based on trauma-based mind control, isn't it? Let's see, the Ten Commandments. There's no trauma-based mind control in there. A church tried to teach its youth group a lesson by staging a raid in which unsuspecting teens were kidnapped at gunpoint, forced into a van, and made to watch one of their pastors being assaulted in the house. I mean, that's just twisted. The lesson, according to pastors at Glad Tidings Assembly of God at Middletown, Pennsylvania, was meant to teach them about what Christian missionaries are subjected to in other parts of the world. Well, why didn't you tell them that ahead of time? However, at least one girl, 14, was bruised and battered after the object lesson and has now filed a complaint with police. This little girl's legs are all bruised up. The girl who's asked to remain anonymous described her terror to ABC27.com. They pulled my chair out from underneath me and they told me to get on the ground. I had my hands on my back and they said, just do as I say and you won't be hurt. The girl said she and about 17 other teens were taken to the pastor's house where it appeared he was being assaulted, covered in what looked to be blood. Eventually, she said the adults in charge revealed it was a staged event. One of the two kidnappers was an off-duty police officer who was carrying a real gun. However, the gun was unloaded at the time. Right. Oh, well, you get the off-duty cops to come into the church and help you do this. I mean, trauma-based mind control, plain and simple. These people ought to be ashamed of themselves. And sick bastards doing all this stuff think they can just do anything in the name of Jeebus. I can do there. I kill whoever I want in the name of Jeebus. As long as I do for Jeebus, it don't matter. I kill anybody. You sick, twisted fucks. Kill yourself for the Lord. That's what the Lord wants you to do. The Lord wants you to fucking go eat a shotgun. Go do that. Canadian court, is this real? I mean, we got a lot of Canadian listeners. We hear from a lot of people up in Canada. But is this real? I mean, because this may be the final straw. I may be moving up to Canada if this is real. Canadian court legalizes brothels and pimping to try to make prostitution less dangerous. They have officially made pimping not only necessary but legal in Canada. Oh man. Well, hey, hoser. Hey, let's listen to Rush, eh? I want to go to the hockey game, eh? Yeah, I'm coming up, man. Fuck it. Pimping is now legal in Canada. Well, I'm moving to Canada. I mean, I think that says it all right there. Pimping is legal. Come on, get it. I'm going to have me a track set up by next week somewhere in Canada. I'll be doing shows live from the track. Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Global Reality with Josh Reeves. We're live down here tonight, and we're in Canada. We're down here on the track on the south side. This is where I run my bitches. Liberty over here. She's been walking the track for several nights now, and she hadn't been doing very well. The bitch still doesn't have my money, and I'm gonna have to stomp a mud hole in her ass if she doesn't get my money. Now, hey, bitch, you got my money? Come back when you got when you got my money, bitch. It's just, it's not easy, but it's necessary. So we're in Canada. We're now pimping out bitches to pay for the network stream, and so we're going to be doing that. So, oh man, that's greatness. Matt, play some Curtis Mayfield in the background. Oh man, I like if anybody up in Canada can verify this for us. A top Canadian court legalized pimping and brothels Monday in an attempt to make prostitution less dangerous. The landmark decision by the Ontario Court of Appeals ruled that a previous ban on brothels puts prostitutes at risk and was unconstitutional. The record is clear in that the safest way to sell sex for a prostitute to work indoors in a location under her control, the judges said in her ruling. Although pimping and operating a brothel was previously illegal in Canada, prostitution itself was not against the law. As of April 25th, prostitutes will be allowed to hire bodyguards and other security staff. And starting in 2013, they will be able to work together in brothels in any part of Ontario province, the 5-judge panel added. Although the ruling legalizes pimping, judges say the law will also allow police to prosecute violent pimps. So, there it is. Yeah, I mean, pimping is now legal in Canada. That's awesome. I mean, go and get it. You know, if you can do it, get it. That's just too funny. The man machines. Scientists develop plastic skin that bleeds red liquid and can even heal itself. You thought that it was over, but I'm back. I always come back. I'll be back. That's right. I'm the Terminator. Robots that bleed like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator have come one step closer to reality. I mean, it's just every day, isn't it? Every day, everything that was in this is the news now. Everything that was in movies when you were a kid is now real. The end. You know? Zombies, fucking Terminator. It's all Robotech. It's all real. The giant Zentradi aliens are coming back for their ancient technology, and we have to take that ancient technology on Earth and come together under a world government and fight off the evil Anunnaki. I mean, my God. It's like every day, it's like, guess what? All that science fiction you loved as a kid, guess what? It's here now. Yep. Congratulations. You're an old fuck. You've lived long enough to see sci-fi come to life. Scientists have created a plastic skin that oozes red blood when cut. Can also heal itself, building tiny molecular bridges inside response to damage. The red blood might sound like a pointless Halloween novelty, but the idea is that the skin can warn engineers that a structure such as an aircraft wing has been damaged. The material could provide self-healing structures for a multitude of products, ranging from mobile phones and laptops. This is self-replicating technology. They want that, boom, when the machines go to take over, I tell you, the machines have taken over. I think that's who's building all this technology. I think the AI Caesar systems, I think they've been running the show since 9/11. I think they're building all this stuff for themselves. I mean, think about the stories we cover here on a daily basis on this show about all this technology and all this, self-replicating. We're now building self-replicating machines, self-replicating quantum machines. Stuff that even after you hurt it or kill it or destroy it, it heals itself. I mean, if you were to make the argument that, yes, there is some computer somewhere that is getting us to build machines for it that it's going to use to take over and kill us all, it'd be hard to argue that that's not going on. That's just sheer insanity right there. Smithsonian Associated Museum unveils exhibit of UFO and extraterrestrial related items. What? Why? Now, wait. You mean to tell me that after... Now, think about this. Every time I go looking for evidence of stuff, like all the giant bodies and giant skeletons and stuff that have been found around the United States, giant skulls and all this stuff, the trail always goes cold and goes dead at the Smithsonian. These guys have been hoarding ancient artifacts and information and stuff that we need and don't have access to for years under the guise of preservation. And now after denying UFOs and aliens for years, the Smithsonian is having a display where they're going to display UFO and extraterrestrial related artifacts? I don't buy that. What are they going to do? Show the weather balloon that went down in Roswell, allegedly? Or roll that out for us? Oh, here's the UFOs. A Smithsonian Associated Las Vegas museum is touting an exhibit loaded with alleged UFO and extraterrestrial related items. The National Atomic Testing Museum unveiled an exhibit titled Area 51, Myth or Reality, which presents historical records of the U.S. military site that has long been called the most secret place on Earth. Located 80 miles north of Las Vegas, Area 51 was used by the military to test spy planes like the U-2 and A-12 during the 1950s and 60s. Now the exhibit examines the long-held belief that the military tested captured alien aircraft at the site, as well as the remains of extraterrestrials that reportedly crashed outside of Roswell, New Mexico in 1947. The CIA declassified most of the records on Area 51 up through the late 60s and early 70s. Alan Palmer, the museum CEO and executive director, told the Huffington Post, "Now we know a lot more about it, and we can present some of the really true stories that happened out there, and we feel a bit of an obligation to tell the larger story about the public's perception of Area 51, which runs right into aliens, UFOs, and extraterrestrial time travel, and those kinds of things." Conspiracy theorists have claimed for decades that the U.S. military used Area 51 to examine captured UFOs and extraterrestrials. There had been bits and pieces in aviation publications about the possibility of something really weird flying around there, but nobody had done any serious reporting about it. Journalist George Knapp of KLAS-TV who in 1989 broke the story about alleged alien sightings at Area 51. The Las Vegas exhibit also examines artifacts from an incident commonly referred to as the Russian Roswell. In 1986, a strange-looking sphere crashed into Mount some long Russian name as long as my goddamn arm, and another goddamn Russian name as long as my fucking arm, Russia. Several Russian scientists sampled debris from the crash site in the days following the incident. Knapp, an Emmy Award-winning journalist, was the first American to travel to the Russian crash site when he was given several samples of debris. That debris is now part of the museum exhibit. We've often heard the argument that from the naysayers that there's nothing to be studied, no evidence. This famous case happened in Russia, where scientists went to the scene of a very dramatic incident and collected samples, and they gave me some of them. And that's the end of the article. Ooh, very strange stuff. So this is the second article I've seen in past couple of days. I don't have the other one up because I X'd out of it, but it was about these gangsters in some country that one of their fellow gangsters fucked them over out of some money, and they killed this guy and skinned him alive, and then skinned him and boned him, deboned his entire body, and skinned him, stripping him, made a face mask out of his face, and then took the rest of his parts and cooked them into stew and then ate it. And it seems that there's this thing going on with like the mafia and the mobsters and stuff. And it's probably been going on for a lot longer than we've known, but we're just now hearing about it more. But it does make you wonder, some of these bloodlines that tie into these mafia families and stuff are, somehow related to this, what they call the reptilian phenomenon and all that stuff. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But, well, I don't know. I think there's a good chance it probably is. I saw Tom DeLay and he wasn't human. He had black eyes. I don't know. If he's a reptilian, who knows? But, well, here's another one. I mean, there's not one of those stories, but two. Russian man kills and eats drinking partner after running out of snacks at vodka party and then sells his leftovers at market as pork. What are the chances of this happening, twice? Is this the new mobster thing? This will probably be you'll start seeing this in all like the, Guy Ritchie movies and stuff probably in the next couple of years now that it's been the news. You'll start seeing it in mobster movies all over the place. A Russian man killed a drinking partner after he and his friends ran out of snacks at a vodka party, then sold the leftovers as pork at a market. The 35-year-old admitted stabbing his fellow drinker, 41, to death before slicing flesh off the corpse, which he cooked and ate. The next day, the cannibal took more meat to a local market on Ruski Island, Vladivostok, and said it was pork. A local man bought the meat but was sickened by the smell as he cooked it. He purchased some pork, but noticed as he cooked it, the smell was strange. Despite this, he ate the meat, and it tasted strange too. Oh, Jesus. So this guy, he buys it, cooks it, smells funny to him, still smells funny to him, starts cooking. That doesn't smell right. That doesn't smell right. He cooks it all the way and then eats it. Oh, Jesus. You just ate human, dude. Congratulations. You're a cannibal. Then the man took the meat to the experts who confirmed that it wasn't from an animal. Hearing this, the buyer immediately took it to the police. Officers went to his house where the suspect confessed to both murder and cannibalism. We got short of snacks to eat with our vodka, he told police. In his fridge, police found a human head. The remains of the rest of the body were in a garden shed. The man is now in detention. She added that 2 other customers bought the human meat but did not complain to police. So 2 other people bought some of that human meat and ate it right up and thought that shit was fucking good eating and didn't complain about it at all. That is good stuff. In a completely separate incident, also in Russia, a cannibal serial killer who ate his victims' livers had confessed to a string of murders while being interviewed by police as a robbery suspect. But as police quizzed him, he confessed to at least 6 grisly murders where he chopped his victims into small pieces and ate their livers before burying their remains near his home with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Rampant cannibalism. That's good times, isn't it? Man, oh man, that is just sick, sick, sick. Well, we're going to leave it there for tonight. I want to thank everybody for being with us. My website, theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. This is our fundraising week, and we've got to reach our goal there on both our shipping banners, so please help out if you can. Help us meet that goal, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in and being with us. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you, and we'll see you next time. You guys have yourself a good night, good morning, good day. Take care.